Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel Anin.EDUCATION. Before we start, please subscribe, like, comment, and share. And for right now, we can to learn about working using Oxy-Acetylene Welding. And let's start. Term or abbreviations. Term or Oxy-Acetylene Welding is understanding working with oxyacetylene is intended for the following purpose. Number one is welding or joining iron or steel material. Number two, cutting iron or steel materials. Number three, heating steel or iron material. And term of two is tube. Understanding acetylene cylinder are generally red in color. The cylinder capacity range from 10 until 40 cup with a boiling pressure of 250 psi. Standard oxygen cylinder are green, gray, or blue. The cylinder capacity is between 20 until 300 cup with a boiling pressure of up to 200, 2200 psi at the temperature of the 700 air. On the top of the cylinder there is a cylinder valve which is protected by the cover. The cover must be installed when the cylinder is not used, when the regulator is not installed. You can see the feature with my video. And term of regulator, the regulator is to adjust the working pressure and determine the cylinder pressure and working pressure. Namely, with two pressure indicator, the oxygen regulator has the right hand treat connector while the acetylene regulator has a left hand treat connector. The hose consists of two lines, namely the oxygen line in the green and the acetylene line in red. There are four hose sizes, namely 3 for 3.16 and inch hole diameter, check valve and the flashback. The understanding checks valve functions so that the pressure flow is the only one way, namely from the tube to the torch only. Check valve is installed on the welding torch. Flashback functions to the prevent the flame for the returning to the tube following the gas flow. Flashback is installed on the regulator set. Check valve and the red if acetylene and oxygen the color is blue. Term or abbreviations is TORS last. TORS consists of the three main parts, namely welding handle, oxygen and acetylene valve, and oxygen and acetylene mixing chamber, or the torch. Then installs checks valve equipment, cutting tip, welding tip, or heating tip. Welding, cutting, and heating tip is understanding. Welding tip is used for the welding, cutting tip is used for the cutting material, and heating tip is used heating for heating. The difference between welding and heating tip lies only in its use. And standard PP, standard personal protective equipment, use the work area consisting of fire retardant were clothes, helmet, earplug or earmuff, glasses, respirator, and safety shoes. Oxy-acetylene welding PPE includes welding aprons, welding goggles, and welding gloves. Equipment such as pipe installations, pump, blower, gear reducer, electric hoist, and tools, avant-garde tools, namely work aids such as key and accident equipment like a regulator, welding torch or handlers, welding tips, cutting tips, hose or flashback arrestor, and the others. Lifting transportations equipment, tools for lifting such as cranes, chains block lorries. Lifting transportation equipment, tools when lifting material using lifting equipment, for example, bolts, sling, cyclos, and others. Cylinder or tubes. The cylinder or tubes refers to in the SOP are oxygen cylinder and or acetylene cylinder. Type of flame, fire, oxidizing, axis, oxygen. Oxidation flame or oxygen over is the type of the flame that has a greater oxygen gas pressure than the oxygen gas pressure. The shape of the flame is like a cone but short and there is a flow of the oxygen gas in the middle. Function of the oxygen flame is the for cutting metal material and for welding with the bronze and base material. Neutral flame or blended oxygen and acetylene gas pressure is a type of flame where the oxygen pressure and the acetylene pressure are the same. From this form, the size is small and focused. The functions of the flame is for welding steel, stainless steel, cast iron, and the copper welding. Carbureting flame or the acetylene flame is a type of the flame that has higher acetylene gas pressure compared to oxygen gas pressure. This flame shape has the three areas where between the flame cone and the outer shell there will be assist con between the function of the carburetion flame is well material, welding manual, nickel, various types or steel. In additions, it is also used for the heat treatment and the non-various surface hardening materials. Safety health environment consider. Work with oxy-acetylene welding is an activity that has the potential for dangers in the form of number one, danger of movement in the form of being hit by the truck or cylinder when the cylinder is moved. Number two is danger of the pressure in the form of A. Explosion from the object being working on, for example, a closed vessel. B. Cylinder explosions due to leak or oil or lubricant and others. And number three, danger of burning temperature or exposed to the heat from oxy-acetylene flames. Number four, chemical, biological, and radiation hazard. A. Exposure to the carbon gas from the welding. B. Exposed to heat radiations. C. Explore to the acetylene gas. And the last one is exposed to welding light. Working use oxy-acetylene welding is an activity that has potential for the danger in the form of number five, noise hazard in the form of explore to noise. 6. Gravity hazard. A. Falling from a height if working at the height of more than 1.8 meter. B. Falling from the same level. For example, tripping over material or hoses. C. Falling cylinder. And number 7. Lifting. A. Moving cylinders. B. Lifting cylinders to a higher or lower level. And A, ergonomic, and is A, fatigue, B, unsafe positions. All the dangers mentioned are very dependent on the type of welding work being done, the equipment material being welded, and the environment conditions around the workplace in order to prevent works accident due to the potential dangers mentioned above. Working can do A. Eliminations. Elimination the source of danger by carrying out permit work, hot work permit, lock and take procedure. 2. Eliminate potential danger by A. Install protection screens. B. Install sign. And number 3. Reduce noise with the earplugs or earmuff. Number 4. Clean materials from the lubricant and oils. B. Substitutions. Place work in the safe area. Do not do it at the height. 2. Lock the machine. C. Fill the vessel with water. C. Engineers control or design. Number 1. Limit expose time. 2. Control access to work site. 3. Use the co-workers to monitor exposure to hazard. Flager on high words. 4. Cylinder in the and upright positions. 5. Use cylinder trucks. D. Administrations. Adhere to standard work procedure, work permit, and other documents safe work practice. 2. Work permit. And E. Eliminate or reduce the risk of the accident by prepare and use professionals' protective equipment in the form of standard PPA. 2. Oxy-Acetylene Welding PPA in the form of welding gloves aprons. One PPA needed or required depending on the work locations and type of work. Working procedure in preparing replacements. Objective. Work can be carried out effectively and safely so that rework and work accidents do not occur. Work step number 1 is perform hazard identifications. The danger is misidentifications, the danger, and you can do the control. Number 1, use relative list, SOP, risk assessment or GSA document. And 2, learn and understanding work others. Dangers number 2, there are potential and independent hazard. You can do control with 1, learning, understanding and implement SOP. Conduct field observations and ask related petitions as superiors or area owners. And 4, request permit if required. And then dangers number 3, exposed to the existing danger. You can do control and select in implementation control for all potential hazards. And 2, adhere to SOPs and all job requirements. Work step number 2 is moving the oxy-acetylene cylinder, and there is a danger the tube fell while being moved. You can the control is number 1 using the lifting tools lorry. Use a suitable lifting tools change block. Tie the cylinder to the lorry firmly. If the cylinder is moved without accident, make sure the working is strong enough to hold in the weight of the cylinder. One hand holds the 5 neck of the cylinder valve, one hand rotates the cylinder. Place the oxy-acetylene tube. Last one is the tube exploded. You can the control number 1 is do not place the cylinder in a location exposed to heat, including sunlight. And 2, make sure the cylinder valve is closed when not in use. And 3, make sure the protective cap valve is installed. And the last one is tie the cylinder. Using oxy-acetylene welding, objective is work is carried out safely and effectively. Work step number 1 is remove the protective cap cylinder. The danger is fall of the protective cap cylinder. You can control, remove the cap and hold it tightly and use safety shoes. Work step number 2, clean the thread where the regulator is installed by quickly open and closing the cylinder valve. The danger is exposed to the pressure of the content of the cylinder, and you can the controller stand on the other side of the oxygen or acetylene outlet. Work step and 3 is install the following equipment is sequence. A. Oxygen and acetylene regulator. B. Flashback arrestor. Danger is damage trees due to incorrect installation or incorrect turning. You can control, make sure the equipment is installed in the correct orders, and the two Oxy equipment use right hand treats and accidentally equipment use left hand treat. And the last one, tighten the connection sufficiently with the principle of no leaks. Work step with using accident welding hose, check valve, torch welding handler, like you can see figure in my video. Then there was a leak control with clean the equipment before installation. Install the equipment slowly and carefully and blended. The last one is blended. The danger is potential explosions. And you can control, clean and remove oil or lubricant for tool, wrenches and accidentally equipment. Setting working pressure. Work step is open the cylinder valve. The danger is accident equipment is the damage and potential acute explosions. The control is open the valve slowly. Open the cylinder valve is the maximum of 1 until 1 per 2 turn. Do not release the valve key while the valve is open. Work step number 2 checks for connections leak. There was an explosion. The control is using soapy water to detect leak. What? Number 3, set working pressure. The danger is the pressure type of the wire is not achieved. You can the control turn the regulator valve to the desired working pressure. Set the working pressure of oxygen and acetylene by turning the adjusting clockwise to open or counterwise to close the regulator. Turning and off the acetylene flame. Working step is perform the procedure for the lighting the welding frame with 1. Use the appropriate blender tip. Slightly open the acetylene valve. Light the flame with a welding lighter. 4. Open the oxygen valve and adjust the flame. The danger is there was an explosion. You can control that would find the welding tip in a safe place. Use only a welding lighter. And 3. Avoid contact with oil and lubricants. And danger number 2 is the wire doesn't burn. You can control clean the blender tip with a tip cleaner. Open the close the oxygen valve to remove dirt. And danger 3, loss of the salt black, and there is some explosions when the turn on. Controlnya, control with the don't open valve too wide. If necessary, open the accident valve larger and open the oxygen valve slightly or smaller. Work step and number 2, perform the procedure to turn off the welding valve with 1. Close the oxygen and acetylene valve solely. This is alternatively. And 2. Close the oxygen valve. 3. Close the acetylene valve. And 4. Open the oxygen valve to remove the remaining acetylene in the torch. And dangers, there was an explosion, so when the turn on, the control is do not close the valve too quickly. Cutting material. Work step number one, make sure conditions are safe for cutting. Two, using a cutting blender with a tip, approach, approach prior to the thickness or the material. There is a danger as the quality of the work is not good and control use appropriate cutting tips. And work step number three is make sure, measure, and mark and the parts to be cut. Work step number four, light the wire and adjust the flame to an oxidizing or oxygen-rich flame. The danger is burning or fire and explosions. You can control with the point the welding torch or blender at a clear and safe area. And control number two, don't use a gas lighter, use a welding lighter. Work step number five is heat the cut part until it is red and will melt. The danger is burning or fire. You can control with one, cleaning any oil or lubricants. Two, remove flammable objective. Three, install barricades or the barriers. And four, prevent executions. At least there is a water locations. Danger explosions, you can control with the perform the procedure as the appendix when working with closed vessel of the confined space. Work safe, the last one is press the oxygen valve on the torch. Danger spark. And you can control, make sure there is enough distance between the floor or wall and the flame. Heating material. Work step with make sure the conditions are safe for heating. Use the welding blender with a tip that matches the thickness of the materials. Three, marking or making the part to be heated. Four, light the wire and set the flame with the carbureting or acetylene type of fire move. And the last one, heating material step is heat the material without damaging the material and or the other materials. Welding material work step ensure safe condition for welding. Clean the workpiece to be welded. Use the welding blender with a tip and match the thickness of the material. Light the flame and set the flame to near flame or acetylene with the same amount of oxygen. Well, by heating the material until it's melt, then it enough adaptive. Storing oxy-acetylene cylinder and equipment. Objective: oxy-acetylene cylinder and equipment are stored and maintained properly and safely. Working step, remove oxy-acetylene equipment. The danger is explosions. You can control, make sure the cylinder valve is closed. Two, make sure it's clean from the oily conditions. Three, cover a cylinder valve with the protective cap. The danger is fall. Tidy up the oxygen accident equipment. Do not skirt it to the floor. Workstep number two, checks the conditions of the equipment. Report any equipment that is not fit for use damage and separate it by detections a damage label. And workstep number three, store oxy-accident equipment. The danger is equipment is the damage. You can control the tidy of the placement of the oxy-accident equipment. Do not pile of the equipment and two, follow the manual book if there is one. And work step, the last one is store oxygen and oxygen cylinder. The danger is the tube exploded and control. You can control. One is store the cylinder in a designed place, and two, make sure the separate empty cylinder from the filled cylinder. Provide information or sign. Three, separate the oxygen cylinder and the oxygen cylinder. Four, make sure the cylinder valve is closed. And five, Install the protective cup in the cylinder. 6. Tie the cylinder in the upright positions. And 7. Avoid exposed to heat. Reference law number 1 of the 1970 uh, uh, 70 concerning equilibrations until regulation the necessary power of the Republic of Indonesia number 0.05 man 1985 considering lifting and the transportation equipment ministry of the manpower. So everyone, conclusion. Oxy-acetylene welding is one of the effective gas welding methods for joining metal, especially thin and medium metals such as low carbon steel or the copper. This method uses the mixture of the oxy-acetylene gases that are burning at the tip on the torch to produce a high temperature flame that can melt in the base metal and filled metal. Work with accident welding has several advantages, such as a relative simple equipment, portable, and doesn't depend on electricity, making the switch stable from the use in the practice locations with limited electricity. However, this method also has limitations, such as being less efficient for the large scale welding or thin material and requiring with high conclusion due to the risk of the fire and explosions due to the flammable nature of the gas. Therefore, the use of the oxygen-acetylene welding must be carried out by trained working by paying attention to work safety procedures such as the use of the personal protective equipment PPE, proper gas pressures regulations, and the storage of gas cylinder according to safe standard, with the applications of the correct techniques and the strict safety procedures. Oxy-acetylene welding can be an effective and safe welding solution in various fields of constructions and material repair. Okay, everyone, we come to the finish from the learning about the oxy-acetylene welding. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. And if my any mistakes, please to welcome back and watching my video. Thank you everyone. Wabillahi taufiq wal hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Greeting engineers.